what what's some recommendations if there's people out there, they're like, all right, I want to know how to break into Hollywood. What do I do? I feel like I'm have a talent. I've been going to school. I've mastered my craft. I'm a professional actor or actress or whatever. What's my next step into moving forward in this industry?
Uh, Always, sharpen your tools. Always get into a class. Getting into acting classes, anything. Just like it. Like first of all, the internet is, and it's just there's so much that you can go. But there's also acting classes. There, it depends on like it. There's improv classes. I would say even if you're not like a comedic actor or quote unquote, I would say get into improv classes, like challenge yourself, even though you probably you're like it's not your thing. Just do that. Get out there, do plays, do whatever you can get in front of a camera, do it. Um, and I think it's a lot. You have to have some sort of people are like, I want to get an agent. Okay, well, you want to get an agent, you need to get onto TV. How do you do that? Like, it's really hard. But you get into a play, and if you do a play, email these some agents will kill me, but it's like email some agents that are, don't go for like the highest agent. Okay, but sometimes I'll get some emails and I'm like, God bless them. I mean, I good for you, A for effort, but like no. And I'm always really kind and email them back and say, listen, I appreciate you, and I always give them advice, and they're all, thank you. I don't think anybody ever replies to them, so they're like, oh my God, thank you so much. But I think it's just, invite people to the play, go on to showcases. I mean, there's stuff out there. Like you have to get out there. And, but the most important thing is to always be sharpening your tools and get into classes and all that.
How important is social media today for a
Well,
working actor or somebody trying to break into the world of acting?
well, the acting, listen, I started, 20 something years ago. So acting, winning and all, there were like triple threats. There's like, you did theater, you did acting, you did TV and all that. Like nowadays it's a lot of YouTube, stuff going on, and they're like bigger stars than anybody. I mean, I think some actors on my roster are like, can I meet this person or because of my kid or whatever? But I think like the world is your oyster. Basically, you could do it all. Like there's room for everybody in the business. I don't ever say like, oh God, YouTube stars or this. No, there's room for everybody. The business is growing. Has it grown? Absolutely. Has Instagram Can Instagram make you famous? Absolutely. It can. It just, for a working actor, the formula never really changes. It is basically, work hard, study, listen, take acting classes, and keep at it, you know?
And how much would you say, like, just in your experience, how much of it is really the who you know versus what you know? Because let's be honest, right? There are some shitty actors on TV right now, or in a movie. You watch the movie and you're like, this, this is a horrible actor. Like, how much of it is it that maybe they knew somebody, or they just, I mean, how much of that nepotism is going
Sometimes
on
I'll watch
in?
like a film on because I know kind of like who's producing it and stuff, and sometimes I'll watch them like, well, that was a money favor.
Oh, so that's what it's called. It's called a money
There's a
favor
lot of
then.
that going on. Listen, I mean, it's that with streaming nowadays and all that, there's just so much more content. I mean, before it used to be like CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox, and those were the channels, that you would see TV. But now it's just becoming, it's such a, so there's room for everybody, bad and good.
And do you like the direction? Because somebody said the other day, they're like, Hollywood's dead. And like, I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Because some people say that, again, everything is going to the streaming, and Hollywood is going to be, toast in 10 or 20 years. I mean, What's your thoughts about that?
God, I hope not. I'm still no, I don't think it's toast. I think it's just growing. I go People have a hard time with change, and I think it's growing and it's evolving, and if you can't beat them, join them. And I'm constantly there's just different, like, even with commercials nowadays, we used to get opportunities and endorsement opportunities for clients to do commercials, and then it would run from, for 2 years, and then it would run. Now it's not that anymore. It's one-offs. It's like, can she do a post on Instagram for X amount of money? And then if she does a story, then we just build it from there. I think those opportunities are awesome, because once the 2 months is up, then she can go and do something else. Obviously, don't oversaturate yourself. If I can give any advice out there, people tend to sort of like have this this platform on Instagram or whatever, and then they oversaturate the marketplace. And people are super smart. Like, people are like, I'm gonna start unfollowing you, and people stop listening. I think that's the main, you just have to be very careful and strategic on what brands you want to associate with and stuff.
So you're saying when you're talking about saturation, you're talking about maybe they're associating themselves with too many brands and
Anybody
they're
that's
doing too
like
many
offering them
campaigns and things like.
yeah, anybody that's offering them an opportunity, it's like, sure. It's like, do
Yeah.
your homework on these people. There's a reason why these pharmaceutical companies and all these other they pay big money for actors to be on a commercial. When you see a commercial and you see an actor associated with it, they're not only paying big money, but there has to be some sort of connection with that actor and that cause. It's just a risky thing. So you got to bring the dollars for that one.
So if they're saying yes to all these different brands, then eventually people are like, well, wait a minute, he can't be aligned with this many brands, and so it's just
Yeah,
going to not feel authentic.
exactly. Yeah.
So is that so the advice that you would probably give somebody is, hey, look, now what about visibility on social media? I mean, I don't know if you guys talk about this with your clients or have these conversations, but like, is there some sort of algorithm or metric that you would tell somebody maybe that trying to enter your type of business, to say, okay, you should post once a day, you should post once a week, you should post, like, is there any sort of strategy to any of that you would advise somebody?
Not really. I mean, we don't. I think if you were representing, like YouTube stars and all that, then of course that would be. But we don't lead with that. We lead just differently. But listen, I'm not an idiot to not think that when we pitch these actors for certain projects, that it's not going to be about like, hey, she has 5 million followers. That's automatic. When she's ready to promote this project, and especially if it's an indie project, then it's gonna people are gonna pay attention. So of course that helps. Some of our clients don't, like, Chris Pine, he doesn't have social media. Renee, like, a lot of our clients don't have social media, and I kind of appreciate that. They don't need it. They're big stars.
Well, no, I think you're right. Well, it's kind of like, I think about this in my own business and in my own life. There's no question. Like, I am so different than I was 25 years ago, just starting in business. When I started in business, I was tougher, I was harder, I was grittier, I worked harder, I was after it, I was on it. And I think that over the years, 25 years later, I've been in my business for 25 years. I can't believe it, but I mean, after 25 years,
But
I'm like,
25.
yeah, great 25, man. But seriously, and somebody told me this other day. I did a little talk with some of my leaders the other day, and they're like, "You're so much softer. Like, you are such a little, teddy bear compared to 20 years ago."
Yeah.
And so I think, though, when you look at like a Chris Pine, or you look at a Renee, or somebody who doesn't have a social media, and then you go,
I mean,
well,
talk
well,
about
let's be honest, they're rich, but they're rich. They already made it. And again, they made it without the social media.
mhm.
So I think that now, if they were to have to start over, like for me, I didn't have social media ever growing up in the business. And then of course I got it after,
Yeah.
I had already made it. Then I started social media. But then you go, well, if they were starting all over, would they try to get to that 5 million followers? I don't know.
Who knows? I mean,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I mean, social media is it's such a beautiful platform. And I'm sure
Right.
obviously your business has grown from that. I look at social media as a positive as opposed to a negative. Sure, there's a lot of negative to it with bullying and all these people and self-image and all that. But like I like my kids, some of the girls at my daughter's junior high, they have social media. She hasn't even asked because she knows. Absolutely not. And when you're ready, fine. It's world is already hard enough, enough for them in junior high than to go and look. Like I said, it's just there's stuff, there's good and bad to everything in life. I feel like you teach your kids to be positive and teach them to be great human beings, and they'll see through the negative.
Well, that's number one, man. You raise your kids to be good human beings that. I don't know. For me, I mean, I want them to love America. I want them to love their family. I mean, that was always my game plan. You were a badass. You were voted one of the most influential Latinas. So tell me about how did that affect you, and what does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, I never like it's interesting because I don't ever like this is the one thing I'm learning. I like talk about later in life. Like I don't ever celebrate myself. I just move. I've learned to kind of slow down and appreciate the moment and appreciate times. Like, it's important to like every opportunity is a challenge to me, but like I constantly want more and more and more and more. That was my mentality back, when I was starting out. Now it's like stop, enjoy, and that's kind of how I've been. I mean, when people celebrate you and say nice things about you, of course it's nice to hear and I appreciate it. But it's still like you live with that imposter syndrome. I don't know. I know it's probably not politically correct to say it, but it is. At the end of the day, it's like, do I deserve this? Do I, sometimes people say nice things and you're just like, oh, okay, you're talking about me, but it's nice. It's really nice to be recognized, and especially for Latinas in this business, there's not a whole lot of us, Latinos, Latinas, however you want to say it, but there's just not a whole lot of us. So when we meet each other in the business, I just recently met an agent who is amazing, and her and I just met because we were like two Latinas in the business. We hit it off. She was great and super smart, super like is going places. I talked to her at lunch. I'm like, we should mentor more Latinas. Like, I think that, and before I wouldn't say that because I would lead with just me. It wouldn't be like, I have this, I'm a Latina, I need to mentor more Latinos, but you need to give them opportunities, because when you look at the business, the way I started in the business is very unconventional. I kind of just landed in the business. And then I realized like, oh, I didn't know I wanted to do this for the rest of my life, but I want to do this for the rest of my life. So, and I had great opportunities with great mentors and great people.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the right place at the right time. But listen, they don't keep dummies around, right? You got to like work it. I've been in this business 20 plus years on the highest level, and I'm really proud of myself. And it took a lot for me to say that, because I, again, never celebrate myself. But it's okay to do that. It's okay to say, that's awesome. And I want to give that opportunity to others, and not only Latinos, but just to other people in general, like other ethnicities. I think, just in general.
If you like this video and you would like to watch another clip, click right here. If you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.